All right, everyone, welcome back to another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at Marvel Legends Spider-Man's Spider Armored Mark 1 Spider-Man, and we're going to be taking a look at the Symbiote Spider-Man as well. We're going to do a twofer in this one. So, with that being said, I'm going to grab and start with the Iron Spider-Man Mark 1 first, and that way we can take a look at his accessories. All right, so this guy, he comes with two sets of hands. He comes with his closed fist hands, and he comes with a pair of whipping hands. And he also comes with some webs. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so just not to keep this video going forever, since I'm looking at the two, you have the Iron Armored Spider-Man. I want to call him the Iron Spider, but the Iron Armor Spider-Man. So, from what I understand, this guy is from Earth 31198. It was a rich Spider-Man who actually made this suit because there was some heavy firearms, so it made him bulletproof, but slowed his abilities down as far as his agility and stuff like that. All right, so now that we had a little bit of history lesson over here in one of the comic books, yeah, this guy is he's a cool Spider-Man. I mean, it's Peter Parker, don't get me wrong. Just he's just in this, not the Iron Spider, but the Armored Spider-Man suit. Now, the way they did this guy from head to toe, I just want to say his head is a silvered armor along with the rest of the body armor that goes along on his triceps, his shoulders, down his forearms, on his hands, on his chest, on his abdomen, around the waist, on the knees, the boots, yes, and on the back of him, including his spider insignia on the back is also armored. All right, looking at this guy, the way they did his bodysuit underneath, I don't know if it's coming through. If you guys can see, it almost looks like kind of like a Kevlar underneath. So it's very well done. Like all the little fabric detail that you can see in here, like a mesh. The way, you know, the way a body armor or a Kevlar would look. I mean, considering it's made of spider silk, Kevlar is, you figure this is a no-brainer for Spider-Man. The spider insignia on the chest, very well done. Mine has a little scripts and scrapes on it, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me much. But very nice paint job that they did on that spider emblem. His eyes did a great job, except for I have a little bit of silver right there on this one here, which is okay. And then all the way back to the helmet, which we have another, you know, a little bit more gray detail in the back. Looks like overbrushing. And then down to the actual armor itself, to the spider insignia on the back, which I showed off before. Not bad, not bad at all. And yeah, if you guys wait to the end, I do have some pictures that I took of these guys on my coffee table. So yeah, they won't have this beautiful background here, but yeah, here is the Iron Spider as far as the paint sculpt on this guy. And before I get into going over him any further, I know it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this guy. I do. I'm just a little preoccupied at the moment. Looking at the hands, I want to come back to this real quick. Look at the Kevlar that covers the fingers. And I like the way they did the webbing around the fingertips. Even though it's all black and you can't see it, it's still detail that they put into the thwipping hands, which is very nice. Very, very nice. All right, so let's get into the articulation. So the articulation with this guy, as far as him looking up, the back part of the helmet right here, that piece stops him from looking up. He has no neck movement, so that's as far as he's gonna look up. Looking down, not too bad. But considering he's Spider-Man, you want him to look up for, if you put him in crawling poses, or the pose that I had him down before that superhero stance. Head tilt, a little bit. Looks to the left or right. Nice little arms out T-pose. Moving into a bicep swivel. And he does have double joints in the elbow. And it's pinless, which is really neat. Nice job, Hasbro. Pinless on the Spider-Man figure. He has wrist bend, wrist swivel, and he has a waist swivel, and he has an ab crunch where he can ab crunch this far, and he can ab crunch back that far. He can do the splits. No drop down hips on this guy, but that's as far as he can do the splits. He has a upper thigh swivel, and he has, once again, pinless joints down here for the double jointed knees. And not too bad, not too shabby for getting his, the knee bend to get his leg up there. His foot can move that far forward, which is really, really nice. And it can move up to make it like a ball of foot, which is really nice. And then you have his ankle tilt. And that is it for his articulation. Now, if you want to change out the hands, just pull the hand, pop it off, and grab a whipping hand, and there you go. You can have him shooting a web. All right, so I'm gonna put this guy to the side, and we are going to take a look at Symbiote SpiderMan next. All right, so here we have the Symbiote SpiderMan, also known as the Black Costume Spider-Man, the one that actually is the Venom symbiote before it becomes Venom. Yeah. So this guy, he comes with, let's see, he comes with 3 sets of hands. So he has 2 closed fist hands. He has 2 whipping hands. And he has wall crawling hands, which all Spider-Man should come with, but not all do. Now, the way they did this guy here, I have to say, wow. Great job. Great job with him. And I was able to get him to pose in some pretty cool poses. The way they made this guy, yeah, a lot of the Spider-Man figures should be made this way. So, of course, he's all casted in black, except for the giant white spider on the front of him and on the back. His white eyes, then the white on the backs of his fists. But the rest of him is just all black. So very nicely done when it comes to the paint sculpt on this guy. The eyes aren't all scraped up and messed up, and the whites are very nicely done. They're not thin, they're not messed up. The spider actually goes, let me just show this off real quick. The spider actually goes from underneath the suit here, connects with the rest of the legs all the way up to the giant spider on the front of him, and then continues down and connects to the back. Now when you get to the back here, because of the way I have him posed, look at that. Very nice. Now, of course, the legs don't completely line up here on the actual shoulder swivel, but you get the gist because of the fact that it's going to be moving. And yes, they did a nice job with trying to get that to connect. But for the most part, they did a good job with it. Very, very nice job on this figure itself. All right, so let's take a look at this guy's articulation. This guy's articulation, they've done something with him that they didn't do with the Iron Armored Spider-Man, or the Spider Armored Spider-Man, however you want to say, Spider-Man Armored, whatever. Anyway, so this guy here, with his articulation, he can look up really far, and that's very nicely done that he can look up this far. I don't know what that is. I got him. Anyway, looking up, and then he can look down really far. Head tilt, side to side. Considering that, that gives him a lot of, I would say, emotion as far as showing off different, when you're posing him, different types of looks. So Yeah, that's really cool. He can turn side to side. And then as far as when it comes to his shoulders, now his shoulders, he can move out. Mine's a little stiff, but they can move out this far. And he does have this nice shoulder swivel where it will move deep, back, and then forward that far. If you turn his arm up where this joint is right here, when you move this forward, you can actually get him going across. So you want to put him in a good punching pose, like, you know, like he's fighting somebody. Of course, you know, you can get him, get a little turn, and right there, nice little punching action going across with the Spider-Man. And of course, he's going to have this hand up to guard himself. So yeah, there you go, reaching across. Anyway, let me get back to the articulation. Sorry about that. He has, of course, he's not pinless, so you see the pins there. Double jointed elbows. So if you move this one here as far as you can get it to go, which actually the forearm here stops it against the bicep, so you lose some of your double jointedness there, but that's as far as you're going to get with that. And then coming down to the wrist swivel, and then he does have a wrist bend side to side, which is actually really nice. He has a bicep swivel, before I forget, and mine has a little bit of white paint right there on it, but oh well, it is what it is. As far as his torso articulation up here, it's very nice. He can move back this far. Actually, he can move also with this articulation here at the hip. He can move back pretty far, leaning back. Moving forward, he can crunch forward quite a bit, which is really nice. So you can get him in those crawling poses. He does not have a waist swivel, but he does have the upper torso swivel. And his legs, now with this guy here, he has drop down hips. So you can get his legs way up there for if he was swinging, and to do the splits if you want him to do just the splits or a split kick or whichever you choose to do with him. So that was really cool that they put the drop down hips on. They should do that with all Spider-Man figures, Hasbro, if you're listening. Definitely. And I know you didn't put a waist because you don't want to mess up the actual sculpt here. But that would have been cool to add that swivel in there. I don't see why not. Then you have the upper thigh swivel. And of course he has his double jointed knees, which are very nicely done, which get really far back. And then moving down to his boot swivel or shin swivel, and then his ankle articulation can move forward that far, can move back that far, and as far as the side to side, I mean, that's some crazy articulation right there. All right, so with this guy here, yeah, he's really cool. He can get into some really crazy poses, which is really, really neat. And if you pop off his hand, oh, wrong hand. So you could put his whipping hand in, and then you could pose him as if he was, let me see. I don't really do a whole lot of posing on camera, but if I was doing a Spider-Man pose and I wanted him to be swinging and he was shooting a web and swinging from the other, oh, there you go. That's not a bad pose on camera. Look at me, getting better at it. Not too bad at all. And then, let me take this hand off. You can put in a wall crawling hand, or just the fact that he let go of his webbing. Let me try and see if I can get him into a different pose. Let's see. Is that about right? Oh, that's actually wrong. This leg would go this way. This one would go in. Maybe have it tucked in a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, not so much on this one, maybe. It's actually not too bad. Actually, I'd have it kind of crunched in more so here. That's not too bad. I'd work on the leg work a little bit, but even so, even if you had him swinging with his legs back, like I said, I don't really do a whole lot of posing. Anyway, yeah. First pose was cool, but you can have him with the open hand, and yes, he does crawl, and yes, he will balance on these hands, which you will see in the pictures that I put up. Anyway, let me get him straightened out, and then we'll do quick comparisons with the figures I have, and finish this review. All right, took some time, but there he is holding his handstand. He's gonna fall, but there he goes. All right, so here's how he compares to Sentinel's Miles Morales. And of course, here's how the Spider-Man Armored Mach 1 compares to the Symbiote SpiderMan. And here's how Symbiote SpiderMan compares to the Spider-Man Armored Mark 1. And here's everybody all together in the Spider family. All right, so with all of that being said, here is both of them standing kind of back to back with each other. You can see the different height, even though I just did the comparison with everybody. Look, if they would have put the butterfly shoulders in this guy here, that would have been great, giving him a little bit more head tilt. You would have gotten some great poses out of this guy here. Not saying that you can't, but you're not going to get the same type of posing that you are out of this guy, because this guy has the deeper ab crunch and everything else. This guy has ab crunch, but he also has okay, let's try that again. The waist swivel that this guy doesn't have, but he doesn't have the ab crunch. Can you get him into some poses? Yes. Do I have many pet peeves with these guys? Not really. This guy here takes some doing, but you can get him to do a handstand like I just showed. And if you guys stay long enough to actually take a look at the photographs, you will see I did some pretty cool stuff with both of these guys. Look, guys, they're great for the shelf if you are Spider-Man fans. If you're not, then hey, that's fine too. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. As always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any type of content that I am putting up. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you were able to decompress and enjoy it for a little bit of time that you guys were sitting here watching. Hopefully this video was not too long. And yeah, I'll catch you all on the flippity flip.